And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Thursday, March 5th, 2026. And the Buck and I are with you for the next 2 hours on a Buck Off Thursday edition of the program. Plenty to dive into. We will recap Texas basketball's brutal loss on the road in Fayetteville last night. We will continue our Longhorn football spring preview. Evan Veith of Inside Texas will join us in hour number 2. We've got the latest from the NFL offseason, including a big trade going down yesterday. We've got the passing of a college football legend, another edition of the BBK News, and plenty more to dive into on a Thursday show. Appreciate y'all spending some time with us. Buck, on to you, my man. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Had a nice round of golf yesterday. We had some early rain early this morning, but looks like today is going to be okay. But the weekend, not so much, y'all. Because once Saturday, Sunday, and Monday hit here, we're going to get the rain that we've been looking for and the rain that we definitely need. So it's okay. That's all right. I think the games will, some of these games that are being played for baseball will still make it through. It's not raining. It's not going to rain all day during the weekend. It's just going to have some. When it does shower, it's going to be wet, y'all. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're really going to get. So I think March is going to be wet this year, BK, and that's fine. Let us get through April, May, and June with some hot weather. But let it rain in March. It's fine. March Madness will keep you inside anyway. You're going to be inside watching games anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't matter.
What do they say? Spring showers bring Austin Powers?
No. April shower brings May flowers.
Oh, nothing about March. We're leaving the month of March out.
No. March is strictly for basketball.
We're too focused on the tournament to worry about the weather.
Yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the weather. They're going to be inside watching and drinking Altstadt. That's what they're going to be doing. We're almost at that time, brother.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Oh, we did see a little basketball last night from some participated, others did not last night in the game. And boy, there's a lot to chew on, as we talked about yesterday with that. But let's say good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day all over this world. Thank you so much for what you do. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate your family sharing you with all of us, and have your head on a swivel, all of you, please.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I never like to open up a show on a downer, but we've got to talk about what happened to the Texas men's basketball team in Fayetteville last night. This one was kind of over before it started. The Longhorns losing to the Razorbacks 105-85, the final score from Bud Walton Arena. Texas was down 19-4, not even 5 minutes into the game, Buck. And it didn't get better from there. The Longhorns trailed by 22 at halftime. They trailed by as many as 28 in the game. And Arkansas had a double-digit lead for the final 31 minutes and 20 seconds of the game. Remember, these games are only 40 minutes long. Arkansas not only led, but they led by double figures for more than 75%, of last night's game. It was kind of a no-show for the Longhorns, especially on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, they just can't get in front of anybody, and that's a shame at this part of the year when you need to play some really good defense because your offense is good, but you can't get any stops. They don't get any stops. They don't play defense. They don't play average defense. And that's a shame. That's a shame to have the offense that they have and have the defensive struggles that they had all season long. So, and that's not a team. That team, after they just got drubbed by Florida, was ready to play a home game and ready to just get on Texas, and they did.
Yeah, look, Arkansas is a better team than Texas.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That going into last night. I mean, the records tell the story. The SEC standings tell the story. I mean, Arkansas is ranked and Texas isn't. Arkansas was favored. Like, there's enough evidence going in to know that they're probably better than Texas right now.
Yeah, one loss at home.
But one loss at home, right? Great point.
Yeah.
But it sort of felt like an imperfect storm for the Longhorns last night. And I'm not making any excuses. I don't know if any of this needed to happen for Texas to lose the way that they did. But the Longhorns coming off SEC win number 9 right? And that was the magic number that everybody talked about before conference play started. If Texas could just get to 9 SEC wins, they're going to have a spot in the NCAA tournament. They got that 9th win on the road in College Station. So perhaps a little bit of a letdown from the Texas side. And then, as you mentioned, I mean, Arkansas suffered its most embarrassing defeat of the season, the most embarrassing defeat of the John Calipari era in Fayetteville. They got steamrolled by Florida over the weekend. So, practice there has been rough, and they've been ready to take out their frustrations on anybody. And obviously, it was senior night as well. It's a rivalry game. It's a hostile environment. It just felt like Arkansas was like really ready to get back on the floor, and Texas might have been basking in the glory of that win in College Station a little too much.
Yeah, and when they wanted to try to get down and dirty with Arkansas, it's just the offensive players were not offense. Pope Jordan, my goodness, 0 points, only a couple minutes played. I mean, the coach had to bring him out for a couple reasons. One, he couldn't cover their guy. He couldn't cover Akoff, but nobody could. Swain couldn't cover him. A taller guy couldn't cover him. There was nobody on Texas team to cover that dude. It's not many in the country to cover that guy. But he wasn't giving you anything on offense, and he's not going to give anything on defense, so he sat the bench the whole night. He had a Gatorade cup in his hand the whole time. Yeah. And it didn't even look like for a second he was going to – when he got out, it looked like he's never coming back in, and he didn't.
I've got a few bits of sound to get to from Sean Miller's post-game press conference, but I think we'll start with Sean Miller's thoughts on Jordan Pope's night. And you're not lying. You're not exaggerating. I mean, Jordan Pope played 4 minutes in this game yesterday. He obviously started, as he always does, picked up 2 quick fouls in the first couple of minutes. So Sean Miller took him out of the game. And sensing that, the game was getting away from Texas a little bit, Sean Miller's like, well, Jordan Pope's one of our best players. I got to bring him back into the game, even with 2 fouls, just to try to create a spark and get us back. And then Jordan Pope picks up an unbelievably dumb foul. He gets beat on defense by Akoff, like you said, and then he just shoves him to the ground. It's like, it was ridiculous. Like, don't get beat. That's the preference. But if you do get beat, be smart. You're a senior. You've got 2 fouls. You can't reach. You can't shove. You can't do anything that's going to allow you to pick up your 3rd. I mean, right. Sean Miller, it's a lot of trust in a guy. He did this with Dalen Swain and Modest Vokatitis in College Station on Saturday. Those 2 guys rewarded Sean Miller by not picking up their 3rd fouls in the first half. Jordan Pope, entrusted by his coach to play in that spot, just, again, commits an unbelievably asinine foul in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, you knew once he sat down, I was thinking maybe if they get a little late run, they need his scoring. But that guy came up. You're talking about coming up with no bullets at all. Wow.
Yeah, and here's Sean Miller after the game. He was asked specifically about Jordan Pope's night or lack thereof. And this isn't a legendary Coach Miller post-game press conference rant, but you could tell he was not happy with the senior point guard.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't seem like he really wanted to play. He really didn't participate in tonight's game. So certainly, when you have a senior who's that meaningful to your team and he's not able to play, it hurts, and it certainly hurt us.
Yeah, Coach, you had a couple others too, but they at least they scored. They had to do some scoring to keep you getting 85 points, which is a lot. In a basketball game, most of those games you're supposed to win, but there's a bunch of them that didn't do anything on the defensive end. Again, I really thought after Saturday's game against A&M, they would kind of buckle down and show that they could play some D, at least get in front of guys. They were always trailing. They were always behind guys going to the hoop. Puts a lot of pressure on their big guy. No wonder that big guy's fouling all the time. Those guys let guys go free down the lane. He has to do something, or it's just going to be a layup drill.
Yeah, I mean, that was my fear going into this game is that, look, Texas has made bad offensive teams look really good. Yes. Arkansas is a top 10 offensive team in the country. I mean, they entered last night 5th in the nation in points per game, putting up 90. They obviously raised that by going over the century mark. But, yeah, I mean, Texas, again, pedestrian offenses look all-world against this group. So an already all-world offense was going to look all-worlder.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
Mark was okay with his 18 points. Swain had 16, but he couldn't cover guy. They tried to put him on Akoff, and I was like, you can't cover that guy. For some reason, he's just too tall to cover him. His feet aren't going to be quick enough. That guy was taking him to the hole, but he took everybody. Heidi, of course, with his 6 big points, and all he could do is get the ball and give it up as quick as possible, but he did have 6. But Nick Cody, I thought, the garbage man, didn't have balls that hit him in the head and went in. He actually took some shots.
Yeah,
He
Nick Cody
actually
was the
tried some
lone
offense.
bright spot, right? If there was
Yeah.
a bright spot in a 20-point loss. I mean, Nick Cody had 11 points, which is a season high for him, probably a career high for him as well. He made the most of his opportunities. The Longhorns obviously playing without Lucina Traore, and Modest was in a little bit of foul trouble during the game, and Sean Miller was just kind of looking for answers. So he gave Nick Cody a bigger amount of playing time. And yeah, Cody, I thought played well. The garbage man, as you like to call him, Buck.
Yeah, but he had some shots, so he took shots. He didn't ball. It wasn't little tip back ends. He was using his offense. And the same now. If Pope doesn't do it, Weaver's got to pretend he's an offensive player. He had 10 points. He's going to hit his 3 dunks a game for at least 6 points. But his speed, he's the guy that plays defense. He tries his heart out. But once again, he couldn't cover Acoff. Nobody can cover that guy. That guy's one of the best in basketball right now, it looks like.
Sean Miller, I didn't cut this up because it was too much praise of Arkansas for my liking and to play on an Austin-based show. But Sean Miller in his post-game press conference spent 2.5 minutes talking about how good Darius Acoff was.
Wow.
And he said in his 34 years of coaching that Acoff is the best point guard that he's ever seen. And he's like, all this talk about who the number 1 pick is going to be, I have no idea why that guy's not in the discussion, because I don't think there's a better player in the country than that dude.
Yeah, he does remind me just a little bit smaller Derrick Rose. He's physically, he's got the jumper, he's got the ability to take you to the hole. He'll play D. He's not afraid to play D. He's not afraid to get in your face. He's just a tough playground player.
That guy's awesome.
He reminds me of Derrick Rose a lot.
He's from Detroit, so he's tough. He's hard-nosed. And look, the scoring ability is incredible. The shooting ability is incredible. But what sets Darius Acoff apart and why Sean Miller, I think, talked about him as much as he did, that guy's playmaking ability is second to none in the sport right now. I mean, his vision, his passing, like you could put together a 30-minute highlight tape of that guy passing the basketball this year, and it would be joyous to watch.
Dude, you could have a highlight just of the game against Texas.
Yeah. Like I literally watched someone put together like a 2.5-minute montage of all of the great passes that Darius Acoff had. Obviously, he had 28 points, so we know he could score. I mean, he's leading the conference in points per game and assists per game, and this is one of the best leagues in the sport. So the guy is a freak. Doing it as a freshman, he's ridiculous. He's going to be a top 10 pick. I saw a mock draft yesterday during the day that had him as the 10th overall pick. That ain't high enough. If that guy falls to 10, there are some teams. I know it's a loaded draft class, but there will be some teams with some buyer's remorse on draft night.
Absolutely.
And look, I get it. Texas is not a good defensive team, so the Longhorns definitely helped. But look, Darius Acoff put up 49 against Alabama a few weeks ago. Alabama's the second best team in the conference. So it's not just, Texas sucks, and that's why he played well. It's no, this guy has been terrorizing.
Yeah, and he takes on all comers on your team. Whoever you think is a great defensive player, it doesn't bother him.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. He's a stud, man. He is a special, special talent. And thankfully, he's only going to be in college basketball for 1 year.
Yes.
Part of me hates the one and done rule because I know college basketball would be a lot better if guys actually had to stay and develop and build chemistry with their teammates. Like the overall product would be a lot better if that were still the case. But, as a guy who roots for the rival school, I'm glad we don't have to see Darius Acoff next year.
No.
That guy is, he'd be a problem in college. I think he's going to be a problem from day one in the association as well.
Yeah, but the real problem is Texas defense is not going to get better from this point on, guy. It is what it is. Just not. You better score a lot. You better get in that 85-90 range to be in games against okay teams because they're going to struggle.
Well, here is my positive spin from last night's game. Here's why I think Sean Miller is playing chess, not checkers. If Texas won that game last night, probably would have moved them up a seed line, right? Arkansas is really good. That would have been a road-ranked quadrant 1 victory. We've talked about Texas being around the 10 line by most bracketologists right now. The Longhorns beat Arkansas. They probably move up to a 9. I don't want to be an 8 or a 9 because then if you win your first round game, you got to play a 1 seed. I'd rather be a 10 or a 7. And then if you win your first round game, you get a 2. Now, the 2s are very good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not as good as the 1s. So I think
No.
this is a little strategery here from Sean Miller, making sure his team's not going to move up to the 8 or 9 lines. And he knows he doesn't want to play one of the 1 seeds in the round of 32. I like where his head's
That
at.
dude is thinking, my defense sucks so bad. I don't care if it's 1, 2, or 3. We got to be better than this. And is there a way to get better? Are we going to practice harder? They can practice all day and all night and in between. I just don't. You just can see it, BK. You look at it and you're going, come on, this is kind of fundamental, guys. You can't, as I said, the one guy, Weaver, his feet are always moving. He's always just one step ahead of the offensive player. The rest of them are a step and a half behind.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about good players like Swain. Swain is at times a good defender. He looked so average as a defender last night. But once again, it's that dude. That dude is going to be drafted pretty high.
Yeah.
So he's doing it to everybody.
Yeah, he's doing it to everybody, and that team's doing it to everybody. Again, they average 90 points per game, so it's not like Texas is the first team they've been able to score against. And I think, look, part of it's just Texas is not that good defensively. They don't have a lot of good individual defensive players on the team, but some of it's lack of effort. And early on, I mean,
Yeah,
Sean
I
Miller,
believe that too.
Sean Miller took his first time out when the game was 8-4. Again, it was 19-4 at one point, but Sean Miller sensed like, we're not ready to go. And I think Miller was so frustrated by the fact that his team was slow getting back. Like after made baskets, after missed baskets, it didn't matter. Arkansas was faster down the floor than Texas was, and they were getting easy buckets in transition. And Sean Miller tried to put a stop to that. He's like, let me take this time out and tell my guys, like, hey, this team likes to run. Let's run. Let's not give them easy buckets at the rim. And it didn't make any difference. Like Texas was just a step and a half behind all night last night. And yeah, I mean, some of that's effort.
Their big guys run. They're 6'5", 6'6" guys can go the length of the floor without any problems and handle the ball.
Oh, forget 6'5", 6'6". I mean, they're like 6'10" guys run.
Oh yeah, what was the kid's name?
Brazil, Trevon Brazil.
Yeah, he can move too.
I mean, that guy also had 28 points. Spending all this time talking about Darius Acuff,
right?
He's earned it. But Trevon Brazil had the same amount of points last night. 28 on 9 for 11 shooting, 3 blocks as well. He postered Modest Vokatitis last night.
Yeah, poor Vokatitis. He's got to play defense for everybody because guys are flying through the lane. So he has to leave try to block the shot, which, he's pretty effective if he's not fouling. But when he leaves the rim and all these other guys are behind him on the other team, they get putbacks. They get all kinds of easy stuff. But he works pretty hard because he knows that the rest of those guys are going to get blown by. I mean, they're just going to zip right by him.
And Arkansas shot 58% from the floor. They shot 58% from the three-point line. They shot 30 free throws. I mean, there was little to no resistance from Texas basketball all night long.
Another 30 free throw night.
Another 30 free throw night. And
we will foul the living out of you.
Yes, we will.
Thank you very much, Coach. That first half, I mean, Texas actually outscored the Hogs in the second half by 2. Now, the game was over, so it didn't really matter. But that first half, the Longhorns trailed 56-34 going into recess. That was the worst half we've seen this team play all year. And there have been a few bad ones, but they just did not match the energy and enthusiasm that Arkansas had from the opening tip, and that's why things got as out of hand as
as I said, I think you found out a lot about the Horns last night. I thought before the game you'll find out a lot about this team and how far they're going to go. Now, it's not good enough. The defense isn't good enough. I wouldn't expect them to go very far anyway, whether it's the tournament or SEC play. My expectations aren't that. My expectations are, could they get a little bit better on defense? Now, after last night, BK, after playing that game against A&M and then playing this game, and this team Arkansas is much better than A&M. Yeah. I look at them going, I don't think they can get that much better. It's just not enough time. There's not enough time.
Yeah, we've seen enough evidence to know that this defense is not going to get a lot better. And look, the tournament's all about matchups. So, I mean, there are some 7 to 10 seeds that Texas could beat, But if there's a 7 to 10 seed that strength is their offense, then Texas could easily lose in round 1.
Yes.
Now, if the Longhorns get a favorable matchup and then in the round of 32, they get to play maybe a team like Michigan State, who's very good, but they don't offense all that well, then maybe Texas could put up a fight and actually win a game like that. But if the Longhorns,
well, as you said, those big three have to score, and when your starting guard, who's an older dude, is scoring 0 and playing 4 minutes, you're probably not going to win.
No, you're right. And look, the problem is not the offense. I mean, Jordan Pope was a problem last night, but you score 85 points on the road in a league game.
Right.
You should win. You sure as hell shouldn't lose by 20.
Lost by 20.
They lost by 20.
85 and lost by 20.
And it was worse than that, by the way. If you just
I think it was. I think it was. I was going to say that this morning. It was worse than what it seemed. I mean, there was an opportunity to run that thing into the 130s.
Yeah. Here's one more bit of sound from Sean Miller after the loss last night. Just opening statement of what went wrong in Fayetteville.
I can imagine that, coming off the Florida game on Saturday night, guys really wanted to play well in their last home game of the season and bounce back from that game, and they certainly did that. I give them a lot of credit. There's some guys made threes. I thought the game really, not that it ended in the first 3 minutes, but really the tone was set in the first 3 minutes by the speed of the game, how they attacked us from the opening tip, and we were just kind of running in mud, and they were on a super highway. That's how it felt. We couldn't make a free throw. We were not at our best, maybe similar to Arkansas on the weekend, and we have to respond and get back to Austin and play our final home game along the lines of what Arkansas just did. That was not our best, and I thought we caught Arkansas on a great night, and I cannot underestimate the impact of Acuff as a player. He is a monster.
Yeah, his team was flat-footed, and that's what really surprised me. I thought we were going to see a Texas team after the A&M game come out and really show some fight. What was that line last night?
6.5.
Oh, that was stealing. Vegas, yeah, that's another one you should have got on your cousin's bandwagon on that. There's been a couple of those like that where Texas has played teams and it's 6 and they lose. Like the Florida game was like 6.5. Man, how do we miss those, BK?
Well, they put up a much better fight against Florida. Like they were covering the Florida game for like 35, 36 minutes. Last night they were covering for 2. So that was the one.
Yeah, the coach was not happy with his coaches last night or his players. He's kind of giving the stink out of his coaches too. Like, what do you do? What are we doing here since Saturday?
What would you say you do here?
Yeah, he had that look on his face like he's mad at everybody.
Yeah, and Sean Miller talked about it. Look, the good news for Texas is they won that game in College Station, so they didn't need to win that game last night. But Saturday's a big one against Oklahoma. I don't know if you need to win it, but if you win it, you put all of the bubble conversations to bed. If you take care of business against an Oklahoma team that you already beat on the road earlier in the year, that you're going to be favored to beat this weekend, then you will be in the tournament regardless of what happens in Nashville. And you won't just be in the tournament. You'll be like in the field of 64. You're not going to have to worry about a first 4 games. So, yeah, it's going to be senior day for Texas. Saturday night game, rivalry game. Should be a great crowd on hand. This Texas team needs to show some energy and a lot more Texas fight than what we saw last night.
Yeah, and their senior guard needs to play a lot better. How about getting benched? How about being a college player that you've been around the game a while and your coach gives you 4 minutes and you're a starter? You get 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Jordan Pope, by the way, was the only Texas player in the positive in the plus-minus department last night.
It wasn't in long enough to screw up, huh?
It wasn't in long enough to screw up like everybody else did.
Wow.
Oh, man. So there you go. Yeah, tough one. The Longhorns get blown out by Arkansas, 105-85, the final score. But again, Texas still in good standing in the eyes of the NCAA tournament. They take care of their business against OU. By the way, OU, we'll talk more about this game tomorrow. But Oklahoma has won 3 in a row. They've won 5 of their last 7. So they are playing better basketball lately. Texas is still the better team. They'll be favored. The Horns should win. But this is not a pushover. You've got a coach fighting to keep his job. You got an OU team that has a very slim chance to make the tournament, but it does still exist. So they're going to be desperate. They're going to be ready to roll. You cannot be flat-footed, to use your term, Buck, this weekend.
What did you think of Cody last night, BK?
Yeah, you talked about him earlier. I mean, I thought he was good. Like, he made the most of his 26 minutes, 11 points, 7 boards, 5 of 8 shooting. I still don't trust him. It's like, oh, that's the spark, and he's going to do that every game the rest of the way. Like, I don't feel like that.
Yeah, but before he had been getting the ball be passed to him, he couldn't get. It was like a hot potato. He couldn't wait. He's like Heidi is now. I can't wait to get this ball out of my hands. Thanks for throwing it to me, but let me get rid of it because it's burning my hands up. I thought last night he looked for offense a little bit.
Yeah, well, sometimes when your team is getting their tails kicked,
yeah, you might as well shoot too. Why not?
It just takes some pressure off of you, right? Like,
it does. You're right.
You can make a mistake in a game where your team is down by 25 points, and it's really not that big of a deal. So you play
everybody's making mistakes. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
You play looser, you play freer versus like you're in a game, there's 4 minutes left and it's tied, and it's like, I don't want to be the guy to screw up here. I'm going to pass it. If I shoot and miss, I'm going to get yelled at. Everyone's going to hate me. So I don't want it. Somebody else screw up.
Yeah, a game like Oklahoma, let's see if he gets in there, what he's willing to do.
Yeah, he'll play, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he can keep it up. But that was the brightest spot besides the fact that the game is now over. That's the other bright spot from last night's game. You don't have to play Arkansas anymore. All right, we'll take your thoughts. Texas basketball conversation. The Longhorns again. That's enough of that. All right, we will shift gears here. We got some Texas football to get into, a little college football. The passing of a legend. Talk about Lou Holtz and his legacy with the sport, plus a lot of other NFL and big headlines across the world of sports to dive into. But before anything else, Buck, how about our first round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, Relax the Back embraces a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle based on 35 years of proven expertise. And my back couldn't be happier. Their motto is to live wellness. And right now, transform your routine of your life into some great things that can happen for your thoracic, your lumbar, your hip area. They have it just for you, whether it's a chair, whether it's a zero gravity recliner, Tempur-Pedic pillows, mattresses, all the accessories that they have at Relax the Back. And it's there for the taking, just for you. They've got 2 great locations. One is at the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods, and in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center across the street from Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Yes, indeed. Love Relax the Back. Sitting in one of their chairs right now. Sitting in one every morning. It's the only chair I'm going to work in. It's the very best. And they are the very best. How about this? A new recorded spot from our guy, Tom McKay.
Sweet.
Over at Audio Visual Consultations.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audio Visual Consultations. For 38 years, we have been the custom home electronics company for all of Texas. If you want great televisions, high-performance audio, control systems, and cool electronics toys to wow your friends and make your life easier, then you need to give us a call. We offer the best prices, the best service, the most knowledgeable staff, all without leaving your home. We come to you, so quit wasting time and money. Just give us a call at 255-8678. It's 512-255-8678. Or online at avconsultations.com.
Good job there, Thomas. We appreciate that. Early Bird CBD, BK. Feeling good this morning. I checked out my little, my handy dandy life alert on my wrist there yesterday. Walked over 5 miles on the golf course. Over 5 miles of getting out of the cart, walking hundreds of yards, and guys are yelling, "Get in the cart. We'll take you over to your ball, old man." I'm like, nah, got to get my steps in. 5 miles, over 5 miles of walking yesterday. So I was thinking my back and my knees are going to be just struggling today. Feels great. Knees feel fantastic. I had great night's sleep last night. And I took that gummy probably 40 minutes before I played. I don't just do it just before I go out. 40 minutes before I play to let the effects get in there. And man, I was good on the course. I was solid, very loose, not very tense. It was a stress-free round. Played pretty well yesterday, and that gummy really helped me out. And for folks, it helped me out the next day, the day after, when you start to feel those pains. Not today, brother. Thanks to the Early Bird CBD. That's fantastic. Yeah. Great stuff for me, for sure.
Love Early Bird CBD, a local Austin recreational hemp company that makes products designed to make you feel good. So if you're like the Buck, you're playing around at golf, you want to feel good on the course and want to feel good after you leave the course, Early Bird CBD is for you. If you just want to Netflix and chill at the end of a long work day, want to take the edge off a little bit, feel good, Early Bird CBD is for you. If you're getting drug tested, Early Bird CBD is not for you. Why? Well, because their gummies and tinctures are made with CBD, but also with a microdose of THC. So you're going to feel it. You're going to feel good when you take these products, but they will show up on a drug test. But man, this stuff changes the game. Both of us are hooked. My mom's on these, girlfriend's on these. I mean, I've got some other friends on these. It's legit. Earlybirdcbd.com. That's the website. Type in the promo code Bucky. You're going to get 20% off your first order from our great friends at Early Bird CBD.
So I had an early birdie at the par 3, and when I walked up to the putt, I said, I'm making this. I was loose. I was ready to go. I read the putt. It's nice, smooth follow through with the putt. That's what early birdies do for you right there, too. That was great.
I like
Took
that.
some money from my buddies. They didn't like that.
Whoa, nice. Big day yesterday, huh?
Big day. Put some of my shots actually on tees at par 3s. I'm not good. If I hit an iron at a par 3, generally I'm like, well, I don't hit irons in the fairway. I know some of my guys may tee it up when I'm not looking on the fairways, but I generally hit it off the ground no matter where I am at par 3s. I actually put the ball on a tee, and I think it was who said that? I think it was not Chichi Rodriguez that said, if you got an opportunity to put it on a tee, put it on a tee. But I did. I put it on a tee, dude, and that was great.
You have a guy in your group named Chichi?
No. But it was one of the old dudes, one of the old timers that said, if you get an opportunity to put it on a tee, put it on a tee. I would say they all say that. Hey, why put it on the ground when you can tee it up and get a little elevation? Where I did yesterday because I had to go over some water.
Hell, if my boys aren't looking, I'll put it on the fairway.
Oh, yeah. That's what my guys do.
Yeah, in the rough. You got a bad lie? All right, well, hang on. You're going to kick the ball into the fairway. I'm just going to put it on a little tee right here, and we'll be good.
Just always wonder about my guys who hit it in the woods, and it's off the fairway. And I said, watch this, how this ball comes out. Now, if I swing in the woods, my ball doesn't come out. It hits a couple things on the way out. Their ball comes out like it's placed on a tee, over trees, towards the green. I'm like, how's that happen with them?
Yeah, it's completely.
It doesn't happen with me.
The ball's perfectly white. There's no mud or dirt on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a perfect shot out of the thick stuff. Yeah. Well, I don't call y'all the Texas cheaters for nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say that's why they do call them the Texas cheaters. They never lose a ball. There's one guy who never loses a ball. I don't care if you watch it off the tee box and that thing is going sideways, just shanked, and it's at least 600 yards into the woods because it goes over the trees. All you can hear is, I got it. I'm like, what? You got that? It's on the other side of Onion Creek. What do you mean you got it? You haven't crossed the creek. How is that possible? I got it.
Yeah, he went and got in his car and drove to go get it.
Yes.
You didn't see?
I always love the I got it guy.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, well, it fell out of your pocket. Oh, I got it. I got it.
It's right. Hey, it's right here. I mean, like right there on the edge of the fairway where I saw it go over the trees.
Everyone's got somebody in their group that does that, and but you're not supposed to have group.
You're not supposed to have 3 or 4 guys like that.
I was going to say your entire group does that, and I like that you're disassociating yourself from all of this too. That's well done by you, sir. Let the record show. By the way, we've got some Texas basketball tickets to give away. I know we just kind of dunked on the team for the last 25 minutes, but we do have a pair of tickets to Saturday's game against Oklahoma to give away. So if you are tuned in this morning to the live show, 512-222-9328. Send us a text on the Circuit of the Americas CODA text line. Any text, say whatever you want. 1 entry per phone number. Send us a text, and you will be entered to win a pair of tickets to this Saturday night's Red River Shootout on the hardwood at Moody Center, the regular season finale for the Texas men's basketball.
And you're back to a group. You're back to a group of 25, by the way. You had an opportunity last night. Sorry. A group of 25 going into the last game.
We only lost 5 after a 20-point loss?
Yeah, you only lost 5. Right. Suppose you get beat. I mean, people should have known what was going to happen. I mean, that was people should have made some money, Vegas money or cousin money right there, 6.5.
I'm sure some people did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did too. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Well, Vegas did not have the line right in that game at all,
No.
because that got out of hand early. All right, let's shift gears here and talk about something a little more positive. How about some Texas football conversation,
Now you're
Buck?
talking.
I wrote down a list of things that I want to hear about the Texas offense during the course of spring practice, which obviously gets going next Monday, March 9th. It will culminate with the orange-white scrimmage on April 18th. But I wrote down a few things on the offensive side of the football that I want to hear over these next few weeks. We might save conversation about the defense for tomorrow's show,
Right.
but I'll ask you first, kind of put you on the spot here. What do you want to hear regarding the Longhorns offense as we progress through the spring?
Well, once they get into full pads and scrimmages, I want to hear that this Texas running back group is having some long runs, some 20 yards or more runs during the course of whether it's practice, scrimmages. I need to know that they are doing a better job of getting runs that are 20 yards or more. You know, the 10-yarders are great, and I never complain about a 10-yard run because the chains move. But the ones that get you to the house, the 20 and 30s, those are the ones I want to hear about, that these two running backs can get that done, which means the offensive line is blocking well, that you've found some combos that are working out. But whether they're working out or not on the offensive line, I want to know that these guys can get it done, and they have the speed to go past the guys on in the secondary and at the linebacker area for this defense. I want to know that these running backs are, I mean, I know what we've seen on film, but in this type of offense, this offense is fitting what they do really, really well early.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I'd love to hear great things about Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers, but what I wrote down regarding the running backs was not about those two. It was about the other guys.
Yes.
And it's because of what you talked about. Like, the film already tells me that Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers are good. Like, I don't need to hear that those guys are having good springs to know that those guys are really good football players. They've got skins on the wall. I mean, they were both first team all conference last year at their previous spots. I wrote down the other three names in that running back room: James Simon, Derek Cooper, your favorite, Michael Terry. I would like to hear some good things about those guys, to where it's not just, oh, Texas has only two good running backs, and if one of them gets hurt, what are we going to do? I want to know that at least one of the quote-unquote other guys is showing the staff and their teammates a little something.
Yeah, my mindset is that Cooper, the highly touted running back, the freshman, is the guy that can make some things happen. The other two, I think I've seen. I don't say I've seen enough, but I've seen some, and I don't know how much of a big jump they're going to make. They're going to be in a weird position, like we talked about before, going into that second year, of this position. Now, if Cooper comes out just blasting out of the gates, a big guy that can run, that's going to be great. I really like to know if he can. The other guys, I just wait and see. I guess I got to wait and see. I just don't think you're going to have that from those two guys.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
You're not going to have 6 or 7 running backs that are just outstanding. They all don't stay in the same place. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, Texas lost 4 to the transfer portal this offseason, so that obviously hurt. They brought in 2 good ones.
And they weren't great.
You're right. Yeah, that's why Texas, I think, was willing to let them go. They brought in 2 from the portal, and they signed 2 from the high school class, so they did replenish that running back room from a numbers standpoint. But, yeah, I mean, it's very rare that any team in America has 5, 6, 7 good running backs these days. I'm with you, though. I think of those 3, Derek Cooper is the most likely to step up and separate himself and look like a true RB3. Just because of the kind of player he was in high school and the size that he brings to the table and some of the things that I've heard about him through winter workouts, even though he's a true freshman. Look, we've seen some true freshman running backs at the University of Texas hit the ground running, no pun intended. So I think, again, he's the most likely guy to do that, but I'm not sleeping on James Simon just yet. I feel like Michael Terry's a distant third in this conversation, just because I know he ran a lot in high school, but it still feels like he's learning how to be a primary running back. But, man, James Simon, 29 carries, 122 yards last year. I thought he looked pretty good in the UTEP game. I thought he looked pretty good in the Sam Houston game. he got 3 carries against OU in the win in Dallas, and then we didn't see him after that.
They just didn't have enough faith in him. That's on coaches being nervous about putting a guy in. Can he protect that stuff? They got a new running back coach because if one of the excuses was he was too young to block guys, he couldn't pick up the system. Well, once again, as I always say, go find another coach then that can coach guys to pick it up. And guess what they did? They did just that.
They found another coach. Yeah, maybe it was that, right? Maybe they liked James Simon running the football, but they didn't trust him in pass protection, and they didn't think he provided an element to the receiving game. So they said, yeah, we're not going to play you. I mean, the Texas running game wasn't good, but on the other hand, you did have Trey Wisner and C.J. Baxter and Christian Clark and Jarrett Gibson for part of the year, and all of those guys were more experienced and had more carries than James Simon did. So maybe it was a case of just, there were too many cooks in the kitchen, if you will. So I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on him just yet. I still think there's a chance there's a little something there that can help this running game in 2026.
Well, if not, he won't be around for another year after this. He'll be gone.
Yeah, you might be right.
They'll either help you get escorted out or you'll say, I can't play at this level. I got to go play. I like to play college football somewhere.
Yeah, excuse me, Buck. Yeah, there's a part of me that, again, considering the fact that James Simon did not play after the Oklahoma game in early October, that was thinking he's going to leave now.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. But he's giving himself another opportunity. They're giving him an opportunity. They got a new coach. You got to see how he develops here.
Yeah, I think he saw all
that
of those.
Means you got to get in games. He has to get in games. When there's an opportunity, he has to be that third or fourth guy. He can't be the fifth guy.
Right. Yeah. I think he probably looked around and saw all of the other guys leaving, and he's like, maybe it's best for me to just stay here.
That's true. I would have thought that way. I mean, if I got in any games, I would have thought, it would have taken me 2 seconds to watch those other two dudes that they went to the portal and got on film and learned about them. I would have known enough of them to start packing my stuff probably.
Well, you're going to need more than 2 to get through.
You're right.
What we hope is a 16 or 17 game season for the Texas Longhorns that ends in Vegas next January. And maybe James Simon. Again, everyone's competing for RB3 right now. Smothers and Brown, whatever order you want to put them in, those are your top 2. But you're going to need more than 2 throughout a long SEC season. So,
when I think of great runners, I've seen a couple. I've had a couple. I've seen a couple. I've been around a couple. I mean, I thought the greatest freshman running back that I'd ever seen, it wasn't Ricky. It was Tony Dorsett when he was at Pitt. When he was at Pitt, that guy had the capabilities every time he just touched the ball, BK, of going the distance. And I don't care how far it was. I don't care if it was 10 yards for a touchdown or 99 yards for a touchdown. That dude was as good as they come. And Ricky was good. But I never thought of Ricky as a Tony Dorsett guy in his freshman year. He was much bigger. He's a different style of runner too. And Tony Dorsett was physical. And they had tearaway jerseys back then when he was a freshman. That dude left more jerseys on a field.
Well, if Derek Cooper is Tony Dorsett reincarnated, then he is going to play a lot, and he might leapfrog one of the other 2.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. If he's as good as that dude I saw as a freshman at Pitt, he may leapfrog both of those dudes.
No disrespect to Derek Cooper, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not Tony Dorsett.
No, I think he's smooth. He's kind of tall, but that guy's velocity and speed. That Tony Dorsett had track speed.
His first year in college, 1973 at Pitt. 1,586 yards and 12 touchdowns.
He was amazing, man.
I don't think Derek Cooper's going to put up those numbers this year.
When he came to Boston College, and just when I was there, he came to BC. He was amazing. He went through us like crap through a goose. I mean, it was amazing to see. And then he came over to my locker room and took out a roll of 50s and gave me $100. Took 2 50s and said, "Hey, here, Godbolt," because he always called me Godbolt. Here you go. Here's a $100.
He was on the other team and he was paying you money?
Oh yeah, he gave me $100 out of his roll, like right out of his pocket, like roll, like with a rubber band. Because he obviously, he was getting paid.
Oh, of course. That's not the surprising part of the story. Why was he paying you?
Oh, just to keep his boy in check there from Pennsylvania.
All right. Hometown kid. You got the
Oh, got the hometown deal
cash.
from him. Yeah, and he had plenty of it, so he didn't mind sharing it.
That's he's like, hey, thanks for letting us beat you so bad. Here's
Oh my
$100
God.
for you, sir.
Dude, we couldn't lay a glove on that guy.
That's hilarious. Well, that's one of the things that I wrote down, by the way. I mean, again, the running backs, right? I want to see and hear good things about the running backs. But another thing, Buck, and this one's kind of obvious, but I want to hear a lot about Cam Coleman. Like, I want to hear that he looks like a top 3 to 5 wide receiver in America. I want to hear that Texas has its own Jeremiah Smith. I want to hear that he's one of the fastest guys on the team, one of the strongest guys on the team, one of the best players on the team. And I also want to hear that he's elevating the guys around him, both in the wide receiver room, but also the other 10 guys on the offense. Like, we've heard great things from Steve Sarkisian about Cam Coleman's work ethic, and it sounds like he's done everything right since arriving on campus in January. I already know he's good. The tape tells the story. The stats tell the story. I just want more validation of that because I'm greedy.
Sure.
But I want to know that, like, no, this guy just isn't good. He's actually better than we thought. We know he's the number 1 non-quarterback in the portal, but now he's actually better than that.
Well, yeah, he can make the other receivers much better. That's where the real telltale about what kind of guy he is for your team, especially on the offensive side, is going to help. If he's making your other receivers good, not because he's taking up the best players, but because some of what he does rubs off on those guys, and they start to understand this is what you're supposed to look like,
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this Texas wide receiver room is going to be one of the best in America this fall, and I think part of it's what you're talking about. Like, I expect Cam Coleman's going to elevate the guys around him, and I expect he's going to make life easier for the guys around him. I mean, look, Ryan Wingo put up some really good numbers last year, despite the drops, but also he was Texas's number 1 receiver. Like, he was going up against number 1 corners every week, and defensive coordinators on the other side were game planning to try to stop him. Well, now, because Cam Coleman's here, he's going to attract all that attention. Ryan Wingo is going to get some more favorable matchups and less attention. It feels like, that could help him elevate his game even more this year.
Absolutely.
Same thing with Emmett Mosley V, who's going to move inside to the slot. Like, people are going to be talking about Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo a lot, so don't sleep on Emmett Mosley. I know Longhorn Nation isn't. We know how good that guy can be, but he's not really a household name for college football fans. I think he's got a chance to put up some good stats.
I think he's going to catch a bunch of balls this year.
Hope you're right. I think he's a stud, man. And, we never got the full Emmett Mosley experience because
he was hurt.
He was hurt. He also showed up after the spring last year because there were 2 portal windows last offseason. So he wasn't here for spring ball. So he was already a little bit behind in terms of learning the offense and doing all that catch stuff that you talk about.
Yes.
And then, he got hurt in the first week of fall camp. So that put him behind the 8 ball a bit. But I think he's good. And then, another one with the wide receivers, I'd really like to hear that Khalil Lockett has taken a step, Buck. Like, I want all of these guys to have gotten better from last year. That's always the hope for anybody. But Khalil Lockett, 5-star wide receiver. He was the number 2 wide receiver in America in the 2025 recruiting class. Like, I like Dalen McCutcheon a lot. Texas went out and got Sterling Burkhalter from Wake Forest. I like his game. I like that pickup. More than 30 catches last year for the Demon Deacons. But, like, to me, Khalil Lockett has the highest ceiling of any of those, non-top 3 wide receivers on the team. Remember, he had a touchdown against Michigan. That was his best game of the year. Like, I think that there's so much potential with him. I would love to hear that guy has clearly separated himself from, again, the quote-unquote.
Well, he has to, BK, because he's that guy in that second year, too, coming up,
Yeah, and talk about James Simon at running back. Like, Simon was like a 4-star outside of the top 10 at his position.
Right.
And again, I know recruiting rankings don't always tell the whole story. Everybody knows this at this point. But you get excited when you get a 5-star, and you get excited when a top 2 guy at any position ends up signing with your team. That just raises the bar.
Or you get really excited when you get a specialist that's a wide receiver or a running back that's a 5-star.
And you think about so many great ones who have come through here in the Steve Sarkisian era.
Right.
And it's just like, you can't help but get excited. It's like, oh, with Sark's offense and this guy playing quarterback and all of the talent that this dude has, it's like, man, this guy's going to be great. And we didn't see much of it from Khalil Lockett as a freshman. I hope we see a lot more of it as a sophomore.
Yes.
That's
That
another
second year is a
thing.
telltale year for those guys, those 5 stars too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then the
Especially
obvious one.
not playing as a true freshman and not getting in games a lot. You got to
Right?
really get it done in that sophomore year.
It's a big year.
Because you're the same as the rest of them. You're no different than a running back. You know what? If you're just kind of cruising along and you don't really produce in that second year, they're still going to go out to the portal and look for another guy. And if you're not going to be that guy in that third year, and then you're going to want to play, hey, I want to get on the field too. My mom and dad come to the games. My girlfriend's sitting in the stands. I want to play. Now, if I have to go play someplace else where they can go in the stands and they see me, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you get 2 years in this day and age, and sometimes you may not even get that. But I think about after 2 years, and if you're not really getting it done, that junior year, they're looking for others by then.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, and it's different nowadays because it's not just talking about whether or not you like the player; it's talking about how much you're willing to pay the player.
Yeah, that's true.
So that has added a whole nother element here. It's like, Texas lost some guys to the portal this offseason that I'm sure they would have liked to have kept, but they're like, well, you didn't play very much for us last year, and you're now asking for more money, and we have a limited budget here. We can't give everybody what they're looking for. So unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go.
Yeah, your productivity is due for less money, but you're looking for more because you're into another year. Sorry.
Yeah. Everybody's a free agent every year in college football.
Yes.
I guess in college sports in general, which it's crazy that this has happened. But that's where we're at right now. So, Khalil Lockett, just 5 catches for 47 yards and 1 touchdown as a freshman. If the numbers in 2026 are similar to what he put up in 2025, then again, I mean, Texas paid that guy a lot of money to come to Texas in the first place. I'm sure he's making a decent chunk of change this year. I don't know if the Longhorns are going to be super willing to keep that on the books.
No, they'll go to the portal. That's what they'll be doing.
Right.
Again.
There isn't that year to leave. But yeah, I mean, we saw it. Texas brought in a top 3 portal class this offseason. So they are not shy to go out and find upgrades if they feel like those exist. And I don't think the portal's slowing down anytime soon.
No, it doesn't look that way.
No. And then the obvious one, maybe we could have started with this, but just want to know that Arch Manning is healthy. I mean, coming off that very minor offseason foot surgery, he was in a walking boot for a little bit. He is now out of the boot. I assume he's going to be pretty limited early on when spring practice starts on Monday. But I want to hear that there are no signs of setbacks or any after effects from.
Or we got to go in there and clean out some more, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just don't rush him back if you don't need to. Make sure he's full go and 100% by the time you put him back out there. And again, no setbacks, no repercussions, nothing like that would be very nice to hear.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You don't want to hear anything about the quarterback except for his arm is strong. He looks good. He's running fine. He's got no hitch in his giddy up. He's just ready to go.
Yeah. And I haven't mentioned the offensive line yet.
You don't even have to.
Oh, it's intentional for me. Like, I'm not going to believe we're talking about things that we want to hear coming out of Texas spring practice. I do not care what I hear about the offensive line.
Yes.
I need to see it with my own eyes against another team, and I won't get to do that until September 5th.
You're absolutely right.
Like, whether that's unfair, maybe that's my UTSD kick it in, whatever. I'll take both. But we could hear every single day throughout the spring, Buck, that, man, this offensive line looks really good. They are so much better than what they were last year. Y'all are going to be shocked at how big of a step they've taken.
I'm not buying.
And you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be yawning. Just going to be sitting back in my corner. Don't care. Show me.
Yeah, I mean, you would like to hear that some individuals are playing, they look like they matured, but as a group, I can't tell until the game.
Look, it's better than the alternative. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, it is. No, we're really not doing that well at guard. You want to hear that.
Like, I'm already terrified. And then if we hear reports saying that, no, the offensive line, they're worse than what they were last year, so buckle up, then it's like, all right, well, cancel Christmas. This thing is over before it starts. But I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And also, I think it's important to note, like Trevor Goosby's coming off season surgery, so he'll be pretty limited. I don't know how much of a part of things he's going to be.
You just
So
want to hear that he's doing well, he's fine, he's healthy.
yeah, same thing with Arch Manning, right? Like, yeah, just make sure he's healthy. That's the big priority for him this spring. He has nothing to prove. And then also Lawrence Seymour, the transfer from Western Kentucky, he's not here for the spring. Now, we don't know if he's going to be here for the fall. He's got to be ruled eligible. But, like, those are two of your starters right there, your whole left side of the offensive line that you're not going to have for parts or all of the spring. So it's not going to be the same as what we're actually going to see against a real team.
Yeah, some things are better when the games come before you really have the belief and because you've seen enough of it in games to know I didn't believe in it before, and you're not going to just talk me into it for spring football. Yeah, guys can get better in the spring. Guys can, they can develop a little bit more in the spring. But you as a fan, you don't get to go to spring practice. Now, you as a fan, if you're there with your big chief pad out there writing on individuals, you can say, he is better. He is better. But until you see him go against another guy on the other side, because as we thought last year, BK, this offensive line, that defensive line must have been whipping their ass all, remember fall camp, they're winning the battle now. And I think more battles were won by the defense, like about 80% of those battles.
Oh, especially up front, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, that's the Texas offense was sluggish to start last year. They got better as the year went along. The offensive line was a part of that, but I mean, yeah, the Texas D-line was elite. And there had to be some frustration. I'm sure Steve Sarkisian was having to tell Pete Kwiatkowski, hell, maybe that's the reason he fired him.
I just thought, as soon as you said that, as soon as I said that, I was like, maybe that's why he got fired. He kept showing them up all during the fall, and it showed up during the games too.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So we'll see. What is me with the offensive line? What's the expression, Buck? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, I'm a dope.
That's about where I'm at with I'm a dope. I like that better. That's about where I'm at with the Texas offensive line right now. So there's my list. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I'm going to want to know about, and we're not going to see it, well, we can hear about it, how the punter is going to be, how the new punter is going to be. That field position, when you got a really good defense, really, really matters in college football. So the punter was okay last year. Is this punter this year going to be okay? Are we going to be struggling? Are we going to be going, musical chairs with punting guys? And I know it doesn't sound like much, but the special teams got to be better.
Sure. Well, we've got Big Mac coming in from Florida State, Mac Shimento. And I'm calling him Big Mac because he was listed at 6'4", 227 pounds on FSU's roster last year. That is not your typical height and weight for a punter.
Well, it makes a big target for the snapper, though.
Does make a big target for the long snapper, right? In case that guy struggles a little bit. You're right. You do get a little extra wingspan and range with Shimento back there. But, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I hope the kicker is good. I mean, Mason Shipley last year was solid. Now you get Gianni Spedic from Memphis. Hope he's solid there. And then, Max Shimento coming in to replace Jack Bowmeister.
Yeah, and that's another one that you don't get to see into the games because the pressure ratchets up, especially for the guy kicking the ball. He can hit them all at practice in springtime and in the fall, and then the games with 100,000, 80,000 there all of a sudden. Oh no, we suck again. No, that's not what you want. You want that guy to be. If they tell you he's good, you want him to be just good. I want him to be better than what they tell me.
Nice impression there, sir.
I like it when they say they're good. I like it when they're better than what they tell you.
Yeah, like just make your kicks, kicker.
That's all you got to do. Go down the other field by yourself in the corner. Hey, take some water. Take a couple Gatorade cups down there with you and kick.
Not to Tom Herman you, but hey, kicker, just make your kicks. That's
all you need to do.
Yeah, don't be Bert Auburn final year. All right, be early career Bert Auburn. That's fine. Don't be last year Bert Auburn, and we'll be okay.
Once they pay you, you quit kicking.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what a life for Bert Auburn, by the way. Just to go to Miami, doesn't play at all, make some NIL money. His team reaches the national championship game despite him doing nothing.
Man,
Not
oh
bad.
man.
Not bad work if you can get it.
Dude's going to have a ring. He's getting a national championship. I mean, no, what am I saying? He's not getting a national championship ring.
Did he
He's
go to
just getting
Indiana?
he's getting a runner-up. Was he getting? He's getting a medallion or something?
Maybe he'll get a ring for, well, they didn't win the conference championship.
No, dude, the Dukies got that ring, didn't they?
Maybe a ring for one of the other bowl games that they won on their path to the playoff. Maybe he'll get something for that. Who knows?
No, you get nothing in Miami. By the way, you get nothing in Miami. You don't even get the teddy bear like the silver medalists and all those medalists got. You don't get a teddy. You get nothing.
No teddy bears like they gave out at the Olympics.
No,
I don't know. They give out rings for bowl games, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, so he's going to get some of those.
Yeah, Texas gives away a ring for all the bowl games, different bowl games.
And they gave out a box of Cheez-Its for this
Alamo
year.
Bowl rings.
Oh, yeah, they gave out Alamo Bowl ring. Really?
Of course.
Of course. Shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be getting a ring for winning the Alamo Bowl. What do you mean, of course?
No, I don't think you should either. It's got to be a major bowl in order to get a ring.
Hey, you win the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Congrats. Here's a box of Cheez-Its and an orange. Make it to the playoff next year, please.
Yes, there you go.
We got to get some intel on that with because Mac used to do that. Mac used to give out rings.
He used to give away. Yes, he gave out rings.
But I don't know if Sark is doing that these days. Maybe that's a decision above his pay grade. Who knows? There aren't much, although that guy's like the highest paid employee at the entire school. So
there you go.
Any of those. All right. We'll get back into some Texas football. Evan Veith of Inside Texas is going to join us a little bit later in the show. We'll continue our spring football preview with him. Don't forget, we are giving away a pair of Texas OU men's basketball tickets for this Saturday's game. All you have to do to enter for your chance to win is send us a text on the Coda text line 512-222-9328. No purchase necessary. Send us a text. You will be entered for your chance to win. We will do the drawing before the end of the show. Buck, before we dive back into the sports, though, how about a few more sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, let me tell you about the rideproject.com. It's very important. Listen up. There's a 2,000-mile journey. It's a 2,000-mile journey across the country, and our buddy Matt King, powered by Gobundance and driven by one mission, and that's to raise $1 million and create direct impact in communities along the route, which means he's going to be giving all that money he's going to get from you folks before he goes. He's giving it out to a needy family, a needy community in this country at each stop, which is incredible. This isn't about comfort. It's about commitment. And what Matt's doing is quite the commitment. And you can help out this project by going to therideproject.com and donating as quick as possible. That thing will be coming up very, very soon. He's donating his time, his backside, leaving his family to ride across this country from Mexico all the way to Canada. And he's doing it to help communities throughout this country. And that's quite a task to take on for this guy, but he wants to do it. He's about community service, but he's about community service not only in his community, but communities all around the country. That's therideproject.com. Help him out, folks.
Yeah, Matt's a great guy, and he's crazy for doing this.
Yeah, he is crazy.
But he's also crazy about making an impact across the world. He is a great dude, one of the most philanthropic guys that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who are willing to give a lot, and that's awesome. Keep doing you. I don't know how many people out there are willing to give 2,000 miles on a bike to help raise this kind of money.
Seat. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, going through 6 states from Mexico to Canada, it's insane. I mean, the guy's going to be riding like 9 to 12 hours per day. I think his goal is 150 miles per day.
Trek on, brother.
And I have not biked that much in my entire life. I'll tell you that. So impressive. TheRideProject.com. Shout out to them. Also a shout out to Altstadt Beer, the best beer that you can find all across the great state of Texas. Brewed locally in Fredericksburg. Again, available wherever you buy your beer, grocery stores, liquor stores, at your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state as well. You can get the Altstadt beer, and they've got a bunch of different brews too. Something for every beer drinker out there. Their flagship beers, the lager, the Kolsch, German style, they are fantastic. easy to drink, they taste great, and they're brewed without preservatives, without additives, without any unnecessary sugars. So you can feel the difference the next day, but also you could taste the difference every single sip. This is award-winning beer. Plus, the Altstadt Brewery was just named Brewery of the Year in the state of Texas a couple of weeks ago. If you need to make a trip, put something on the calendar, how about a trip down to Fredericksburg? It's a beautiful drive right in the heart of the Central Texas Hill Country. So much to do at the Altstadt Brewery. And, of course, you're going to get plenty of samples of their great beer as well. It's my beer of choice. It should be yours as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Of course, our friends at St. Patrick, I had on one of the polos yesterday out at the golf course, got stopped there on the course by somebody that went by, stopped, came back and said, hey, where'd you get that nice polo from? I said, St. Patrick, 5222 Burnett Road. And they've got tons of those different sizes, everything that you're looking for. They got the fitted on-field baseball caps. Yes, indeed. Look, tees. They've got it all at St. Patrick, folks. Once again, orders of $59, online orders, $59 or more, free curbside pickup, and plenty of parking spaces just for you at 5222 Burnett Road. For more information, go to StPatrick.com, and do remember, Jellycat headquarters.
Jellycat headquarters.
Absolutely, man.
Always.
Absolutely.
And forever.
By the way, you had the candle at your place the other day when I came over for the show.
Oh, yeah?
Tyler Perry Campbell.
The Tyler Sagan candle.
Yes, very nice.
I think that's what it is. Yep, they got everything at St. Patrick. Love that place. And also love CentexTickets.com. Texas baseball back at home this weekend. Texas basketball back at home this weekend. If you're looking for tickets to any Longhorn game, any sport, Centex Tickets has you covered. Plus Texas Stars hockey tickets, Austin Spurs basketball tickets. And it's not just here in Central Texas. I mean, they've got you covered in the Metroplex and Houston, wherever you are. If you want to catch a game, catch a concert, catch a festival, a comedy show, Centex Tickets has seats waiting for you right now. Don't forget the promo code CENTEX10. You type that in at checkout, and you're going to get 10% off of any ticket purchase from our great friends at CentexTickets.com.
Just around the corner from MotoGP. Yeah, baby. The bike's coming out Dakota.
Bike's coming out Dakota. Yep. Get ready and get your tickets for that as well. Shout out to our friends at the Circuit of the Americas. All right, Buck. The college football world lost a legend yesterday.
Indeed.
Lou Holtz, college football Hall of Famer who coached at 6 different programs. Obviously most known for his time at Notre Dame. He's the 3rd winningest coach in Fighting Irish history. Won the 1988 national championship there in South Bend. Passed away yesterday at the age of 89. No cause of death given. Sounds like his health was fading in recent months. Passed away surrounded by family in Orlando at the age of 89.
This is an old dude. Things started to break up just before you hit 90 in the 80s. As I said, I'm still a young man until I hit 80. Then I become an old man. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm done. It just means that I'm an old man when I hit 80. And that dude was 89, almost 90 years old. So he was an old dude. And
well,
stuff's starting to break away. You know what I'm saying?
Couple of thoughts there. Number one, what a sentimental message from you. I mean, my gosh, guy just died and you're dunking on him. Oh, he was old. Screw him. Things start to break down. That's how it goes.
He lived a great life, man. He did a lot of things in the span of 89 years. I mean, resurrected the Arkansas program. I know you weren't happy about that, probably. Notre Dame.
I was not alive for any of that. So
I was not happy about the Notre Dame deal, much less Arkansas. But man, what a character he was.
Oh man, yeah, obviously
a great motivator
figure, great motivator. Spent a decade after his coaching career was over as an analyst working for ESPN, and gave me some pretty memorable moments in my childhood growing up, watching, Reese Davis with Lou Holtz and Mark May. Those guys had a daily college football show, and they were their big college football guys back then. And
yes, they were.
Lou Holtz was an icon for the sport. And I do have one more question for you. You just go from being a young dude to an old dude. So you're young from 0 to 79, and then you just turn old. There's no middle age.
There's really no middle ground. You're either young or you go young and then you get old. You know,
Huh?
I think you're still a young man like me in my in 70s, you know, getting ready to be 71 years old. I'm fine. I don't feel like, I mean, there's some things that are starting to, you know, cells that break away from the body and, you know, you got to replace certain things like knees and things like that. But I'm not old. But when I hit age 0, dude, I'm an old dude then.
Spoken like a true doctor right there.
Yeah.
Some
You get,
cells that break away from the body.
yeah. I mean, things start happening to you. You know, prostates start getting huge. They get big and things like that. You know, you get knee replacements. Once you start taking your stuff of your youth out of your body and sticking metal into your body and then having to take antibiotics and stuff like that, that's about the time things are, you know, enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. That's all I can say. Enjoy the journey.
Well, I got to push back on something you said. Now, I'm 32, you're 70. We can't both be in the same classification.
Oh no, we are. Oh no, I'm still spry like you.
We're not both young guys. There's got to be a different term considering we're almost 4 decades apart.
Well, maybe there's a time when you get to be my age that you're just young at heart. How's that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I'm a young guy anymore.
What?
I think
32 years old? Are you out of your mind?
I'm like middle-aged.
Well, that's true. At your age, I did have like 3 kids by then.
I just feel like once you pass 30, you don't qualify as young anymore.
No, you're still young. You're young into your 40s. You're young into your 50s, 60s, 70s. Maybe I'm over exaggerating all that.
Oh man.
I know,
Look,
I know now once I started collecting my Social Security, I waited for as long as I could. I said, I'm going to wait this out, mate, to get maxed out. And I did. As soon as I did that, which I wish I wouldn't have. I wish I'd have collected early because things started happening to me once I started that. Every time I go to the doctor, it's something else, or you're taking too much of that. You don't have enough of this in your system. So here's what you need to do. And so if I could do that all over again, as soon as I was eligible, I would have got it because, you know, there's a lot of people that collect it. And as soon as they collect it, they pass away. They don't ever get to use it or spend it. So, you know, you're a young dude, 32. Come on, man.
you can't be collecting Social Security and making the claim that you are a young dude. That's not allowed.
It's not?
I'm not going to let that one fly. If you want to say I'm a young dude, that's fine. I don't think I'm young anymore, but I'm not letting you say you're young. You're old, man.
No, dude, I'm not old. 80
You're
is old. Stop it. 80
You're
is old. I'm not old.
I bet when you were 60, you're like, man, 70 is old. I'm not old. 70 is old.
No, I always put the number as 80. I don't. You know, my mother-in-law is 96 years old. She's old.
Okay. I thought you had a different term for her.
No, she's old. But she's still spunky and spry, and I can hear her talking to her daughter who can't hear, you know, she's yelling. I can hear her voice through it. Joyce can barely hear, but I can hear her mom screaming at her over the phone. She sounds young and she's got a lot of energy and stuff. I still got a lot of energy. I just don't like the visits to the doctor. That's all. And you probably refuse to go. You're trying to do it the way of most younger people. You know, if I don't go, everything is just fine. As soon as you go, you find out something.
Yeah, I'm a man. I don't go to the doctor.
So yeah, no.
That's sissy stuff. I ain't no sissy.
No, go get yourself checked out. Remember, you got to get things checked out, brother, because you don't want them to sneak up. Because when they sneak up on you, it could be too late.
In all seriousness, I do go once a year for the annual checkup. It's important.
The anal? Did you say the anal checkup?
No, I'm not old enough to have somebody reach their hand in there. And unlike you, I don't volunteer to do that.
Oh, my goodness.
That's your weirdest bit. Or you only have to do that once a year. Sometimes you don't have to do it at all, but yet you go, what, once a month? Twice a month?
Oh, dude, I go twice a year.
Oh, twice a year for it.
And I get bugged out by the doctor saying, I'll see you this time next year. I'm like, that's it? Is that it, doc? Are you serious? You'll see me next year? I don't need to see you before then? Come on, man.
As he's washing his hands, I'll see you next
year. We
were
friends.
Oh, you thought you were friends, huh? You like that guy so much because of what he does to you. You want to be friends with him.
No, he tells me everything's okay. I get my checkups because if there's a possibility of, and guys, we're getting towards that time for your checkups for cancer. Don't be afraid. Go get that done. Don't let your family down. Don't let yourself down.
Right. That's well said. Well, what a nice tribute that was to Lou Holtz, huh?
Sorry about that, Lou. We don't even know what happened to you.
Don't know what happened to Lou, but man, loved watching that guy. And I did cut this up. This was one of my favorite moments in sports television growing up. Again, Lou Holtz did a show, College Football Final, with Mark May and Reese Davis, and also did a few other bits. Dr. Lou, as our guy Jason says. I mean, he was a big part of ESPN's college football coverage back in the day. And here's one of my favorite Lou Holtz lines of all time, Buck.
They will get to talk a whole lot more at halftime. I promise. Well, I don't get they cold, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
Oh my goodness. What did Lou say?
So there's Reese Davis at the start of that. He's the first voice you hear. And then Lou Holtz comes in. I think my favorite part is the fact that Reese Davis fully understood Lou Holtz.
Yes.
He just kept talking, kept the conversation going. You tell me, Buck. You're an old man. You tell me what this old man was saying in this.
They will get to talk a whole lot more at halftime. I promise. Well, I don't get they cold, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
No, he's talking about his cereal that he had this morning, his cream of wheat.
Oh, you heard cream of wheat in there?
That's what it sounded like. I got to get a bowl of cream of wheat.
Dude, I've listened to that over 100 times in my life, and I have no guesses on what he's even trying to say, let alone actually being able to tell you what the words are.
Yeah, he's something, man. He's quite the motivator. Boy, he could get after his players on the sideline. He did not mess around.
Are you motivated by that?
Oh, dude, he was one of those in-your-face guys, and he was a little skinny dude. Yeah. But he would grab a guy by the face mask. He would get in their face. If you made a mistake on the field, you weren't walking past Lou Holtz. It wasn't one of those deals where you got to go and slide your way to the back of the bench, and maybe your position coach would come over. That dude was waiting for you.
How can he not be motivated by this?
They will get to talk a whole lot more at halftime. I promise. Well, I don't get they cold, but
holy moly! I thought
how are you not motivated by that? I mean, don't you want to run through a brick wall after hearing that?
Oh man, Lou, rest in peace, Lou.
Rest in peace, Lou. College football legend, passing away yesterday at the age of 89. And all-time great coach. Revived a few programs, as you talked about. Third winningest coach in Notre Dame history. Won a national championship in 1988. And, probably wasn't super popular for college football fans who had to, go up against him, and college football teams and players who had to go up against him. But with the work he did as a broadcaster and analyst, I think he became a pretty popular figure in the sport. So
yes.
There you go. All right, over to some NFL news, Buck. We got a big trade that happened yesterday. We've got an Aaron Rodgers update. We've got a big release that happened yesterday. Where do you want to begin?
Did you say Aaron Rodgers has spoken? He has come out of the cave?
Aaron Rodgers has spoken.
Wow.
He was a guest on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. He frequents that program, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the first time, I believe, that we've heard from Aaron Rodgers since the Steelers lost to the Houston Texans in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs back in January. Before we even play this, I'll just say, here we go again. A non-update from Aaron Rodgers on his future.
Well, I mean, what are we sitting here? It's March 4th. Free agency starts in a week. I've been spending a lot of time with my wife. We went on a ski trip. Just been laying low. There's a lot of other things going on with the situation in Malibu that have changed some things. But I've talked to Mike. I've talked to Omar. There's been no deadline that's been put in front of me. There's no contract, offer or anything. So there's nothing that I'm, having to debate between. I'm free agent, and, again, I'm enjoying my time with my wife and enjoying, this part of the off season, and I think there's conversations to be had down the line, but right now I'm not there hasn't been any progressive conversations.
In other words, nobody's offered him any money, a contract that he's going to be satisfied with. They didn't say a number that he could say, okay, now I'm interested. They haven't even said anything to him yet. And so he does have a wife.
Well, he keeps telling us that he has a wife.
He doesn't want you to talk about it, but he does.
By the way, he kept speaking for another minute, and I kid you not, he brought up his wife 2 more times.
After bringing her up twice?
Yeah, he already said it twice in the cut we played. He talked about her 2 more times once I cut it off.
Huh.
Apparently,
but he doesn't want you talking about his wife.
Oh, he doesn't. And apparently, later in that interview, he talked about there being like a bounty or reward from the paparazzi if somebody could come up with a picture of Aaron Rodgers' wife, because no one's ever seen her. It's like TMZ or somebody was going around offering money like, hey, can you find Aaron Rodgers' wife? If you do, send us a pic and boom, we'll compensate you.
That guy doesn't have a wife because TMZ would find it out because they play real money.
Yeah, they find out everything.
Yes, they do.
This guy has made up a wife. I'm convinced he has a fake wife. He just wants people talking about him more. And so, all right, well, football season's not going on. What can I do to have people curious about my life? Let me just make up that I have a spouse, even though she won't admit it, even though there was no wedding, even though we go on trips, but no one can find her. She's not real, dude. She's not real. Maybe it's his Alexa. Maybe that's who it is.
Maybe he's got a jelly cat that he takes on the plane into the hotels with him.
Boy, someone would have taken a picture if Aaron Rodgers was walking around with a giant jelly cat, don't you think?
Oh, probably.
That guy was carrying a huge stuffed animal around everywhere he went. That would make the news.
That's just he just has to be weird. He just got to be the weirdest.
Got to be
weirdest on the block.
I'm telling you. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, to me, I hear that, and it sounds like Aaron Rodgers is interested in playing. Now, free agency doesn't officially start until next week, so there can be some back channel negotiations going on, but things will obviously ramp up once the new league year officially begins. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's Pittsburgh. We talked yesterday about your Minnesota Vikings potentially being interested. Perhaps there's a third suitor somewhere out there. I think he's going to play.
Third year in a row. He's not playing this year. He's done.
And you keep saying that, and you keep being wrong, so I'll keep being right by saying I do think he's going to play. And look, I don't think he can be that choosy in terms of the amount of money that he makes. I mean, maybe he has a number in mind to where it's like, well, if I don't get offered this, then I will retire because it's just not worth putting myself in harm's way every single Sunday as a guy in his mid-40s. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get an offer that he likes, and I think he's going to keep it rolling. I mean, he wasn't that great for Pittsburgh last year, but he wasn't horrible. He was better than what the Steelers had at quarterback in the last couple of seasons.
They weren't anything to write home about with their wide receivers, and the one guy missed a couple games because he was a knucklehead.
Yeah, DK Metcalf getting into a fight with a fan in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good enough to make the playoffs. Now it's what the Steelers always do, or at least always did with Mike Tomlin as the coach. We'll see what changes there. But, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it wasn't like he looked totally lost and decrepit out there. Still had a little spunk to his game. Obviously not the 4-time MVP, the prime of his career, but I still think he could play. I don't think there are 32 quarterbacks in the league better than him, I guess is the point I'm slowly getting to.
Just about 27.
You might be right.
Yeah.
You might be right, but it ain't 32. He could be.
JJ McCarthy's not one of them.
That's for your Minnesota Vikings to decide.
We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't replay this.
Well, it's Aaron Rodgers. Again, here we go again. It's another offseason where he could really just come out and say, yes, I am going to play, or no, I am not going to play. But because he has to follow in Brett Favre's footsteps, which means a crude pick is going to Jen Sturger at some point down the line, we've got to drag this thing out for as long as possible.
Wow.
So there's the Aaron Rodgers update. Other NFL news, Buck. Stephon Diggs is being released by the New England Patriots after just one season.
Yeah, I mean, he was, they talk about, I mean, he had 1,000 yards, didn't he?
85 catches, over
Wow.
1,000 yards this year. Big part of the Pats winning the AFC, getting to the Super Bowl.
I think he has up and coming trial over some abuse, I guess, somewhere there.
Yeah, that's probably the issue here. I mean, he was set to make more money on his contract in 26 than he was in 25, but I think it's more off the field. And Stephon Diggs is facing felony strangulation and other criminal
Yeah, that was
charges.
just that deal with their tight end that was a little off kilter there. They've been they're probably kind of careful in New England about that kind of stuff.
Oh, worried about an Aaron Hernandez part 2?
Well, they don't even want to have that out there.
No, that's fair. And they must, Diggs has pleaded not guilty to the charges. His next scheduled court appearance is April 1st. New England must have some evidence that we being the general public.
Yes.
They must not feel very good about Stephon Diggs' chances of getting off scot-free here.
Probably not.
Because he's too good. He was too impactful for that team to just let him go like that. Again, this is not a bad football team. It's like, oh, we need to rebuild. This is a team that just played for the Super Bowl last month.
So is this dude going from Buffalo to – this is his third team in a row, right?
He's on Houston for a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Buffalo,
So
Houston, and here.
This will be his, I guess, 4th team in 4 years if he can play.
Yeah, that's – they talk about you being a leader. Generally, they like to keep those leaders in one place for more than a year. You don't wear out your welcome in a year.
Yeah.
Especially when you got numbers like this.
Right. Yeah, he started his career in Minnesota, was traded for Justin Jefferson on draft night.
Understand that.
He had 4 great years in Buffalo. So the Bills got their return on that trade, I think. His contract expired. Or actually, no, they traded him to Houston for a year. And then his contract expired. The Texans decided to not re-sign him, so he signed a 3-year deal with New England last offseason. And again, he would have stayed, I assume, on that contract if this off-the-field stuff didn't pop up, but it did. So that's where we're at right now. And now the Patriots will be in the market for a new number 1 wide receiver. Perhaps A.J. Brown?
Perhaps.
You and I were talking about that before the show a little bit. A.J. Brown, former Tennessee Titan, spent some time with Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. It's one head case to another, though, going from Stephon Diggs to A.J. Brown.
Yeah, really. Is that what you're looking to do with a young quarterback?
Yeah, I don't think there's any strangulation charges out there against A.J. Brown right now. I don't know for sure. All right, real quick before we chop it up with Evan Veith of Inside Texas, a quick round of sponsor shout-outs, my friend.
Tell our friends at Woods Comfort Systems, folks. Over the next couple of days, it's going to be raining, but after the rains come, the high 70s back to the 80s. And if your air conditioning is not working properly, you are going to feel the heat for sure, and that's not what you want to feel. You want to feel nice and comfortable inside your home. They do air conditioning. They do heating just in case the cold front comes running back in here. And now they do plumbing inside and outside. Trust the folks that people in Central Texas have trusted for 70 years. That would be Woods Comfort Systems. Nobody does it better.
No, they don't. WoodsComfortSystems.com, 512-842-5066, the phone number to call. Shout out to them. Also a shout out to McCall Custom Homes. Our guy, Mike McCall, big-time Texas fan, big-time supporter of the show. And, he can turn your home into something big time. Custom home builder and renovators here in Central Texas. It's a father-son duo with more than 4 decades of experience. So they know what it takes to turn a Central Texas home into something truly special. Kitchen remodels, bathroom renovations. Maybe you want to add some life to your outdoor space, outdoor kitchens. They can do that. Maybe you want to add on to your home if you've got a growing family, whatever. Mike McCall and his crew can do it for you. They're A+ rated by the BBB, tons of 5-star reviews online, and they're offering free estimates to listeners of the Bucky and BK show. McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com, that's the website, or you can reach out to Mike directly, 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home. All right, I see him in the waiting room. Let's talk some more Texas Longhorns spring football as we continue our week-long preview, getting everybody set for the first day of practice on Monday. Evan Veith from Inside Texas and InsideTexas.com, kind enough to join us today. Evan, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing great. Thank you all for having me on.
Well, it's good to have you, man. Thank you for your time, for sure. What do you see, Evan, going on right now for the spring? What are some of the things that you'll be looking for, with the exception of, quarterback being healthy, out of the boot, can run around, do all the things that he wants to, but doesn't have to do a lot of those things. Just kind of chilling out, maybe looking to see who your number two is going to be, your solid number two at quarterback is going to be. Is there anything besides that position you're looking at?
Yeah, I think quarterbacks one makes sense. Arch throwing to Cam Coleman, something I think everyone wants to see, but that's more for the social media highlights, the clips.
Yeah,
I think something that over on our website we were writing and talking about today is, 3 offensive linemen are not going to be healthy for this clip of spring practice, and 2 not healthy, and then Lawrence Seymour, we're still waiting on that decision. We heard early March. We'll see how soon we hear about that, but either way, it seems like even if the waivers is claimed in positive way for Texas, he's coming in the summer. So you have that, a Trevor Gooseby injury, and then Andre Kojo, who's still recovering from a preseason injury last year. So that's 3 guys, 2 of which you're expecting to start, that aren't going to be in that rotation. It means Brandon Baker is going to spotlight a little bit at left tackle. Jaden Chapman, this is a huge, huge spring for him. Is he a guard? Is he a tackle? He was recruited to play tackle. You really didn't hear much about him, but it's one of those guys that stayed through the portal attrition, which was nice for Texas. You need those kind of guys, but is this someone that they could play at guard? Is there going to be a real competition with Seymour there? As well as the Coleman twins. I think they're 2 people that could really benefit from a really nice spring. So that O-line is directly, it's the thing I'm most interested in, because I think it's so important to the success of this team in 2026. It's what everyone was upset about in 2025. And Sarkisian did address it, and they even made some staff changes. Jason McIndoe is now going to be coaching them instead of the tight ends. But it still feels like you're going into a spring practice going, man, what is this offensive line? What are we going to have from them? And are they going to be able to protect Arch Manning and extend the run game, which I think a lot of people are also a little concerned about.
Yeah, it's the biggest question for me, for sure. Evan Veith of Inside Texas joining us here. You brought up Cam Coleman's name a moment ago, Evan. I feel like it's an obligatory question to ask about him, but what have you heard? What have you seen from him so far through his first month and change on campus? And what are your expectations from him, in the spring and obviously throughout the entire 2026 year?
One thing I really like about Coleman, that it was profiled a little bit at the very end when he had already been committed to Texas, was this is the diva wide receiver position. This is, I heard you guys talking wide receivers before this in the NFL. I'm not going to go back up to what happened, but there was no drama with Cam Coleman. There hasn't been at Auburn. He was, there was the drop problems, but there wasn't problems off the field or complaints about his quarterback play, which frankly, he could have complained about his quarterback play a little bit more. It seems like he's really kind of embraced the culture at Texas a lot better than maybe some people would have thought before. And that's credit to Sarkisian, who admitted that, hey, he wasn't doing it early enough last year, and that he was trying to integrate a culture in June, when realistically with the portal and all these early additions in the spring, you have to do it in February and March. So it seems like Coleman and Wingo especially have a good relationship, and he's already happy with having to work his way up, and he knows that this is his spot to lose. He is going to be the starting wide receiver at Texas, but still putting in the work. You still see him in the workout videos on the Texas accounts, and they like showing off that he's doing the sprints as well as the freshman. So I think you have to expect that this guy steps immediately into a starting role and holds it and keeps it. He's just too talented not to be out there pretty much every snap this year.
Yeah, I got to believe he came to Texas for a reason, to play with Arch Manning and to help his draft stock out in that first round when the draft comes next year. He's just a matter where he's going to be picked. It seems like he does all the right thing. For me, it's what can he do for the rest of the guys at wide? What can he do for Ryan Wingo? That's important for me to see. Is that guy going to be consistent? Does Cam Coleman help him out mentally to be a better route runner? Some other things. We know he can. We know when he catches the ball what he's like. He's a beast when the ball is underneath his arms and he's running with it. But can a guy like Cam Coleman really help him out in the professional part of it? What you have to do, you have to catch the ball on a consistent basis once you try to get to the next level or any level, because as a wide receiver, that's your number one job, is to catch the balls on a consistent basis. So you think Cam Coleman is the guy that can really help Wingo out?
Yeah, and I think it's a help me, help you, right? Like Coleman was coming into this offseason was 2027 class. You have to look out for Jeremiah Smith, Cam Coleman, and even Ryan Williams. But at some point, you do have to show that on the field. And it can't just be this guy's a 5-star monster athlete. It's here's him putting up the yardage. Here's him running the routes. Here's him catching the football. And I think both of them, if you can make one knock on their game last year, was they had drop issues. And Coleman, very well profiled by kind of saltier Auburn fans with his leaving, was, hey, he dropped balls in the Iron Bowl and he dropped a lot of these slants late. So a lot of it is, hey, we both need to work on this. We both are first-round NFL talents, but let's not let this opportunity slip when we have Arch Manning as our quarterback, because I think they both clearly know that they have one of, if not the best quarterback to be throwing it to them in all of college football for this upcoming season. And yeah, Coleman is so important because defenses have to account for him with safety play. And that's not something that Texas really had last year. I mean, Parker Livingston was a good deep threat, but it wasn't we need to draw a safety back because we can't help our guy or we can't have our guy one-on-one on the outside and on the boundary. And that just makes it so that Ryan Wingo has a lot more opportunity, both in the screen game, if they're running him away from Cam Coleman and they have to have a safety accounted on the other side of the field, or just if he's running these routes a little more on these digs and going inside on the field and saying, hey, there's less chance that there's going to be a guy that's ready to blow you up right there. And I think part of Wingo's problems in those middle of the field catches is he'd look a little bit too far forward and either say, oh, shoot, I'm about to get blown up by a safety, or, oh, my God, I got so much space in front of me, I got to keep running, and then the ball would drop. So I think there's just going to be less pressure on Wingo. And I made this take before on Inside Texas. I think that Wingo actually out-yardages Coleman. He has more yards this season because of just the nature of the positions they play. I mean, if you think back to that 2024 Texas team, Xavier Worthy had more yards than Adonai Mitchell, but I was someone who thought Mitchell was the better NFL prospect and at times the better receiver for Texas because he was called upon when they needed him most. But Worthy got a lot of the yardage, and he was also a superb wide receiver. I think this could be a year where Wingo's an 1,100-yard guy and Coleman's an 1,000-yard guy, but Coleman's called upon to take the really important 6 yards as opposed to Wingo getting 20 on a 1st and 10.
Sure.
That's well said. Evan Veith of Inside Texas and InsideTexas.com joining us here on Bucky and BK. Y'all make sure to support IT and all the great work they do over there. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, Evan, what's your biggest question with Will Muschamp's defense? Maybe it's Will Muschamp. Maybe that's the biggest question taking over for PK and what his unit's going to look like. But what has the most attention for you going into the start of spring football?
I think 2 things. One that you can't really quite quantify with spring football is, he brings in Rasheem Biles, who was just a slam dunk linebacker addition. I didn't think there was a chance this guy was ever going to make it to Texas when he entered. I didn't really talk about him much because he was an Ohio guy, and he's leaving Pittsburgh, who has a really good system for linebackers. You're going to Ohio State, aren't you? And he ends up at Texas, and he's a great player, but he and Ty Anthony Smith are pretty similar in that they're a little bit undersized, maybe not true Mike linebackers, either of them. And Texas brought in Juice Cryer to help out with that, but you don't want him on every down, especially on passing downs. He might have a little bit of concern with his speed. His effort is tremendous, but I'm wondering how they can stop the run if they're able to stack and shed against blockers and how much Ian Gaffard helps that out with playing in the nose tackle spot. And then also something you can more see in spring practice is who's playing where in the secondary. I mean, specifically Grayson Littleton, I think I don't know if he profiles as well as a nickel in specifically Muschamp's defense, but he was so good there last year. And it's kind of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. When you have Bo Masco coming in, who might be a better press man guy right this second. I also want to know who's maybe rotating in at that nickel. We heard Sarkisian say, like, hey, Xavier Filsaime might get some run there. They like that modern safety approach. You look to the NFL, like Nick Emanwari, who's really is a safety, but he plays primarily in the nickel for the Seahawks. And then is Kobe Black or Warren Roberson going to get a chance there? And then what does your actual cornerback rotation look like? There's so many options. There's so many good players, but outside of Jelani McDonald and I guess Littleton at this point, there's not a ton of proven guys on this Texas secondary. So they've done a lot on the coaching side of things with Muschamp, Gideon, and Stoops coming in. But just who's playing where, who's standing out, who's taking that next step? Is Wardell Mack going to be a big contributor this year? I'm just really interested to hear everything about that part of the team.
Evan, we talk about this a lot with this team. This team is a team that lacks discipline in a lot of places when it comes to penalties. They are awful. They're not just bad. They're really, really bad. Now you bring Will Muschamp in. Now the head coach is, not having to do much with the defense now. He can concentrate on being the head coach and doing some other things. I don't know. I've never been around a team that was penalized like this ever. And I don't know what they do in this modern day of football. Do you just not play guys? What do you do? And nobody ever asked Sark, like they never ask him questions. They ask him questions about the offensive line and position-wise and stuff like that and drop balls. But very seldom do people come up and say, Coach, what are you going to do about these penalties? Do you have a solution? Is there something that you're going to do this spring? Because he talks about implementing his culture a little bit earlier than he did last year, not talk about stuff in March, but do it in February when new guys come into the system. Well, your culture when it comes to penalties sucks. I mean, it's awful. So what are you going to do? What do you implement in spring? And I know you're a young guy. I mean, I've been around coaching a long time, but I've never been around implementing something that can evaluate why are we so penalized? What is it that we're doing? What do we need? Do we need 3 more officials at practice? I mean, do you see that as a problem? You got to see that as a problem in order to win a national championship.
Totally. And I think, Bucky, what annoys people in the Texas sphere is all this culture talk. And then it feels like one of the most culture things that you have on a football field outside of obviously the effort of the players is your discipline and how many penalties you're committing. And I think for me, it was really annoying the special teams. And that was just a spot where it felt like Texas was losing a lot of yardage and they lost a lot of the kind of the hidden yards of the game on kickoffs and punts where just an extra 15 cost them a few times. And outside of Ryan Niblett, it was not a very good unit. So it has to be part of the plan. And like you said, Bucky, it's hard for me to specifically say what that looks like of here's our drill to help us not commit penalties. A lot of times the penalties, it's a when it rains, it pours kind of thing. I think of the Florida game, once they got down and then the penalties started being a problem on the offensive line, it kept coming and coming. And it was better against Oklahoma when they kind of took hold of the lead in the third quarter and were able to keep it like that. So having a younger team at times really makes it a problem for the team. And it's been a problem at right tackle for as long as I've been supporting Texas and covering them now that I'm over on Inside Texas. So it's hard to say what actually needs to happen, but having more experienced guys to the portal should help. And I think that's something on the offensive line of Connor Robertson taking the reins as the center and taking over as the captain of that part of the team. Trevor Gooseby shouldn't be a guy who commits a lot of penalties. Siani didn't quite have too many problems with that as compared to like Cam Williams 2 years ago, but we'll see how he does in the SEC. It's just a lot of frustration that's built up over 2 years with that part of the team that Sarkisian clearly with this culture reset and the bringing it in a lot earlier needs to address. And I'd hope that that's something that Texas fans can look back and say like, man, I forgot we were complaining about that because it really has been a problem the last 2 seasons for Texas.
No doubt. Great stuff there. Buck, any more football questions for Evan?
No, he did a good job right there, brother.
All right, before we let you go, Evan Veith of Inside Texas joining us here. We know you cover basketball as well. Sorry to make you talk about the Arkansas game, but your thoughts on what we saw from Texas in Fayetteville last night?
Yeah, I thought it was a bad matchup coming in. I think Texas has clearly had a problem with stellar guard play, and you get probably the best guard in the country if Darren Peterson's not playing basketball. You heard Sean Miller after the game say like Darius Acup's #1 pick level, generational type of point guard, and he really is. I mean, I think it's some NBA people are overthinking it a little bit with him. This is one of the best shooting point guards we've seen come out of college basketball since Trae Young, I would say. But yeah, Jordan Pope, 4 minutes, 4 fouls. You can't do that. It's just if you're playing point guard, that cannot be your stat line. And that led to Simeon Wilcher getting a lot of run. And as much as I think Wilcher's a good bench player, he's not a 30-minute in a game kind of guy. Vokia Titus really struggled in the first half with Trevon Brazile, and that looked like the matchup in Arkansas's favorite. It just felt like even the smallest of good that could have gone Texas's way, like them getting some buckets early, rimmed out, went the other way for an Arkansas 3. I mean, I think I wrote up there was about 12 points I felt like I could count in that early part of the game where it just swung one way in Arkansas's favor, where a ball should have been made for Texas, a missed layup, which for some reason is a problem with this team, and they go the other way. I'll give it to them. They played at least through about 8 minutes left in that game. They made a few runs to make it like 15 points, but I said it was a game that they were playing house money with because it really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things of making the tournament if this Arkansas game was a win or a loss. We've been saying that from the start of the season, from halfway through the season, from the last 3 games. just go and beat Oklahoma, and you don't have to worry about it. And Texas is the better team than Oklahoma. They're at home. Pope's legs are going to be fresh, and it's a reset for the team, hopefully. And hopefully one where you can go and look back and say, hey, we won a first-round game as a 10 seed. I can directly look back and say getting blown out at Arkansas really helped this team kind of realize the level of play they're playing at and what they need to do going forward.
And you don't expect them to be all of a sudden be a great defensive team. That's not going to happen. It's too far gone right now. It's just stay doing what you're doing offensively, and every once in a while get in front of a guy and not be chasing a guy. That would help a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little. Evan Veith of Inside Texas, kind enough to join us today. Great stuff, my friend. Thanks so much for doing this, and hopefully we get the chance to chop it up again soon.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Evan Veith. Y'all follow him at Evan Veith on Twitter. Also support Inside Texas. Go to InsideTexas.com. Become a subscriber there today. I've been a subscriber for years. They do a great job covering the Texas Longhorns football, basketball, baseball, everything going on the 40 acres. They've got you covered at Inside Texas.
Yeah, he's like me. He's like us trying to find the answer about the penalty. It's hard. You get into certain games and you get into a flow of a game and some team is beating you up. You start grabbing and reaching and it just happens. And it is a part of your culture. When you talk, when you're big on culture talk, that comes out as, yeah, you can be big on it. But when you're hacking and holding and, crossing the street and all that stuff, that's a part of it too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was perfectly said, right? Steve Sarkisian, and he's not the only coach that does this.
No.
He talks about culture a lot, and it's important. But I went on this rant a couple of weeks ago with you. It's like, it can't just be the end all be all. It can't be the excuse like, oh, if things are going well, our culture's good. If things are going bad, our culture's bad. Not like, right. Tell me about what's actually happening here. And I don't want to hear how good your culture is if you are second to last in penalties, because I agree that is part of culture. And if you are 135th out of 136 teams at something that has to do with your culture, then maybe your culture is not as good as you think it is, coach. So figure it out. So I don't know.
At least you just want an idea of what it is that you're trying to change. That helps you out a little bit. It helps the fan out, and then the fan can take it for themselves and say, you know what? Culture is getting a little bit better this week.
I'll be honest. Of course, I would love that transparency, but you don't have to tell me what you're doing. Just do it.
Just have it on game day.
Just do it. Like whatever it takes. And Sark, if you want to give me like $500K of your 12 mil, I'll come up with a game plan to make sure you stop having penalties. Whatever. I'll do it for you.
There you go.
You just hired Mark Stoops. I mean, you've got all of these staffers. Tell somebody else to do it. Figure it out. Whatever they have been doing has not been working. I think that's pretty safe to say. All right. So there you go. Good stuff. Talking Texas football and basketball with Evan Veith of Inside Texas. All right. We've got to get to the BBK news here in a moment.
Yeah, buddy.
But before we do, any more sponsor shout outs, Buck?
I did Woods. No, we're good, buddy.
Okay. Well, then I will give some love to our friends at Sleep Cycle Center. Our guy, Dr. Chad. We're going to talk to Dr. Chad on the show next week. You're going to get to hear from him all of the great work that he can do for you. If you're having sleeping problems, if you snore, if your partner snores, you might have undiagnosed sleep apnea. And it's not just annoying to the person sleeping next to you or, oh, I'm a little tired today, but it's no big deal. I'll just drink more coffee. No, this could be the sign of a serious health problem. Undiagnosed sleep apnea actually killed Dr. Chad's father. That's why he got into this business in the first place. Also killed NFL Hall of Famer Reggie White. And there's unfortunately plenty of others who have lost their lives to this condition. Don't let that be you. Don't come close to that kind of situation. Sleep Cycle Centers can help make your snoring and sleeping problems a thing of the past. 2 Austin area locations, one up north, 183 and Breaker, the other in Lakeway off of 620. You mentioned Bucky and BK. You're going to get $100 off an at-home sleep study. Go to their website, sleepcyclecenters.com to schedule a consultation today.
Very nice.
Yes, indeed. And a quick shout out to Waterloo Printing and Graphics. Our guy, Adam, if you have a business or just a big event coming up, you need hats, shirts, signs, stickers, koozies, posters, business cards, whatever. our guy Adam has you covered. Based right here in South Austin, he will get you what you need and get it to you very, very quickly. 512-300-9641. That's his cell number. Call him, text him. He responds annoyingly quickly. I feel like he responds to my text before I even hit send. It's ridiculous how responsive this dude is. Great guy at Waterloo Printing on Instagram. If you want to shoot him a DM there, he will take care of you and your business. All right, my friends. The BBK news today. I've been sitting on this story for a while. We really have a few stories like this, but we'll do one today and maybe another one tomorrow. And who knows, we might have more of these to do next week. There have been a lot of improper student-teacher relationships populating the news lately. Are you a fan of these types of stories, Buck?
I hate to hear about them. I hate to hear that some adult is taking advantage of some kid. I don't like to hear that.
Well, you're a good person.
Yeah, I pretend to be. Yes, I can figure it out. I'm not like you. You thrive off of this. You're like this, and this is the one you like.
I'm not a good person, and I'm in the content space, so I'm looking for content all the time. Yeah. And these kinds of stories give us some content. We have a headline: married high school gym teacher charged with sexually assaulting student. Quote, can't believe I'm going to do this, end quote. So we've got a PE teacher here, Buck. This physical education got a little too hands-on, if you know what I mean.
A little too physical, did it?
A little too physical. A married high school physical education teacher has been charged with sexually assaulting a student whom she admits sexting and kissing, but denies ever getting, quote, fully physical with, end quote.
Yeah, well, that's a lie. So there's one thing.
Let me ask you this.
Guilty, period. Guilty.
You've heard enough.
I've already heard enough to know she's been in at least the back seat or the back room or the coach's office or on the gym mat. No, that's enough already, yes.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the term sexting?
Yes.
Okay. And what would quantify or constitute fully physical? She says they sexted and kissed, but not fully physical. What's the line there?
I have a wife, so I know just me thinking about it is already past it. Forget texting, sexting, or whatever. Just the thought that I would be thinking about doing something with somebody else would be enough for her.
You're not
to
even
hang
allowed
me
to
by
think?
The rafters.
She can read your mind. You can't even think about.
No, I can't even think about it. No, that's she's got that part down.
Well, here is a picture for those of you tuned in to the video portion of the program. 39-year-old Alicia Crins started sending flirty messages to the boy when he was in her sophomore class at a high school that I'm not going to try to pronounce in Gloucester, Rhode Island. She apparently found his phone number online, which is confusing there. She didn't have the stones to ask him for his number herself. She found it online. Well, anyways, they started texting. She eventually sent him nude pics and videos and kissed him twice, including once while straddling him sexually in the back of his car.
I told you there was a car involved.
Well done.
It's high school. Of course there's a car involved.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're both at the high school, but they don't want to do it inside the school because they're worried someone's going to see. So let's take things to the parking lot, be okay. Well, the teen sent in a complaint. When quizzed by the cops, the married teacher admitted to sending the X-rated pics as well as having kissed the boy, but insisted they were never physical, despite locking lips and openly discussing plans to have intercourse, according to court documents.
So a young lady, she's got to have a young husband. I mean, he's got to be able to, I mean, we're all freaks in our own way. I mean, he's got to, why don't she just get freaky with her old man?
I guess she was tired of the old man and wanted the young bull, huh?
Wow.
I guess so. The flirting started with her saying the boy looked good and creepily asking to wear his sweatshirt before she teasingly asked him what he would buy her for her birthday. And she proceeded to ask him for a kiss, gave him her address, and he apparently did some stuff on a side street on the way to her home. And she said, quote, "I can't believe I'm going to do this. You can't tell anybody."
Oh, yeah,
before,
that's the old, hey, don't tell anybody. That kid couldn't wait to tell everybody.
Yeah, before grabbing the teen's face and kissing him for nearly 15 minutes. For the next few days after that, she bombarded the boy with flattering texts about what a good kisser he was and how she couldn't stop thinking about his lips. This is gross.
Yeah, now you're getting to the part, yeah, now you're like, this is gross. You're getting to the part where this lady is a predator.
Yeah, and this stuff, it sounds like it continued for a while. Again, it started when he was a sophomore, and there were texts when he was 17, and this continued when he was 18, and it got to a point where I guess the teacher told investigators that she eventually asked the student to stop messaging her due to her being a teacher as well as being married. So the kid, to his credit, maybe not to his credit, I don't know, it's up to you. He's a kid, whatever.
Yes.
He waited until he graduated. He graduated last spring, and then a few months after graduating, he filed a complaint with the Rhode Island State Police, and that triggered a criminal investigation, which has led us to all of these details that we now know.
Yeah, deep. I mean, the young part of him, the immature adolescent said, you know, I'm gonna do this. And then as time goes on, he's thinking, this ain't right. I wouldn't want anybody doing this with my sister or whatever, probably. That lady's a creeper. And how many beers would it take for you, BK?
For her?
Yeah. How many Allstats? 15?
No, it's not going to take that much. Give me a six. Give me a sixer, and I'm good.
Sixer?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2-3 shots of Jack, and I'm there. Why am I being like that? 2 shots.
That's all it would take. Well, you just said a moment ago, if you even thought about doing something like this, you'd get in trouble. And now you're like, well, if I just did that, then I'd be in.
Well, if I didn't know my wife, if I didn't have a wife, yeah, I mean, it's just creepy. It's just, you know, I mean, you know, that's there's certain things you just don't do. And teachers messing with students and whatever that's just being creepy. And you're married too.
I know. 39 years old, messing with like a 16-year-old kid, and she's married. So now, like, you know, maybe I assume her husband didn't know about any of this, but now everyone knows him as the guy whose wife didn't think he was good enough. So she started flirting around and fooling around with a high school kid.
Yeah, that's caring an awful lot about that dude, right?
Yeah, no kidding. But man, I always ask the question, like, was this stuff going on back in the day? And why was I not a part of this back in the day? Did I have no game?
I wouldn't have told anybody. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I would have told everybody. You kidding me?
I would have told the whole class the next day.
That teacher would have been fired 2 days later. Because I wouldn't have been able to keep my mouth shut. I would have been telling all my boys. I would have been like, don't tell anyone. But of course, they were going to tell everyone. They knew. I was like, you know what? Sorry, teach. I'm going to be big man on campus, and you're going to maybe go to jail.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to tell everybody I had some of that, but you're going to jail.
Yeah,
they're not going to do anything to me, but you're going to get locked up for this.
In the words of Mike Gundy, who's the kid here? I'm the kid here.
Yeah.
You're the adult. You're a woman. You're almost 40.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So that's out of Rhode Island, your story here. I love how
Rhode Island, Delaware. It didn't happen in Delaware. That surprises me.
She tells the kid, can't believe I'm going to do this, before she starts Frenching him in a car for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then she's going to tell him, hey, you can't tell anybody. He's a
Maybe
kid. You can't tell anybody?
Right.
Okay,
and he didn't until he graduated. And I wonder, you know, sometimes these stories come to light because the kid gets upset. Like, the student and the teacher are doing their thing for a while, and then the teacher wants to stop.
And the kid needs some weed.
And the kid's
parents won't give him any money. His parents won't give him any money for any weed. So the kid goes to her and goes, hey, you need to get, I need to get a little bag of this. You need to pay for it. Or.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I was thinking the kid's like, high school girls are fine, but she's experienced. She knows what she's doing. I'm enjoying this. Yeah. This is easy. This is great. And now, you want to stop? You're not stopping, sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be you. You would be that kid.
Oh, I'm blackmailing for
Yeah,
sure.
Of course.
So there you go. And again, I mean, look, these stories happen all the time, but I kid you not. There's 4 or 5 headlines I've seen in the last week about stuff like this.
Of course there is.
So we'll maybe have more of them to get into. We also, we'll save it for tomorrow's show, but a wild hot air balloon story out of Longview.
Wow.
We'll have to get into. You ever been on a hot air balloon?
I haven't, never going to be.
Well, after we tell this story tomorrow, I don't think you're going to change your mind at all.
No, I don't do anything that doesn't have a roof over the top of it. I'm not going up in.
That's fair. That is very, very fair. Before we wrap things up here, we've got to give away this pair of
things starting to shake. It's randomizing.
Randomizer time. Texas OU basketball tickets. A pair for this Saturday's game against the hated Oklahoma Sooners. Today's winner on the Coda text line, a 512 number, 3937.
Very
Text
nice.
it in, 940, and Oklahoma still sucks.
Yes,
We agree.
indeed.
Congratulations. We will reach out and let you know how you can claim your tickets. We're going to be giving away another pair tomorrow, so tune in for your chance to win. Also, follow our social media accounts, and we're giving away a couple of pairs there as well. So keep it locked in. We're taking care of the people here, Buck.
Nice. Somebody says sophomore too young, but me as a senior, oh yeah, maybe as a senior, I'm getting ready to head off to college. Maybe a little different.
Is it a serious question? Probably a dumb one. Like if you're 17, because that's the age of consent in Texas. Not that I've been studying that or anything.
Yeah.
If you're a senior, you're like 17, right? And turning
Almost
18.
Yeah.
So is it legal at that point, or is it still not because it's the teacher-student thing?
I think it's because of the teacher-student thing. I just don't think that's not allowable. That's unacceptable.
Okay. All right. Like I know socially it's going to be viewed in a bad light, but like, is it
I think
actually breaking the law?
I think if I was a senior in high school and a teacher like that, I probably could keep my mouth shut. I wouldn't tell. I think if she said this is not going to end anytime soon, I think I could go, okay, I'm going off to college. Got to have something back home. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, if she wanted to keep things going, then I'd maybe not say anything. Nah,
yeah, but messing around with some kid is 1 year off of being a freshman. That's kind of gross.
It's a bad bit right there.
Yes.
Jake says someone check BK's hard drive. See, we don't need this here. We don't need it. I'm not on any lists. Don't be checking any history or hard drives.
There's nothing to check.
Nothing to see here. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, that'll do it for a Buck Off Thursday show. That was fun. We'll be back tomorrow. More Texas football, Texas basketball, Texas baseball, and who knows what's going to happen between now and then. Great show, my friend. I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Hook 'em.
Have a good one. Hook 'em.